Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and joining me at this time, a very special guest. He is the guitarist for LoveBone, Roy Coston. How's it going, brother?
Hello. Thank you very much, Matthew. Thomas from Super Cool Radio. I am on with him. Too bad we can't be in person, but this is the best we can do. I'm out here in the thriving metropolis of Oneida, New York, in the middle of nowhere, between Syracuse and Utica. I'm the guy trying to raise my hand up saying, look at us over here, you know.
Yeah, I would like to meet in person too. That's how I prefer to do my interviews, but we still found a way to do it, and
Yes,
I
it
really
is.
appreciate you being
My,
here.
my kids will be very happy with this modern technology that I'm doing. So,
That's right. Give it up for technology. So, right now there's no shows going on with the whole pandemic and everything going on. So, how are you staying busy?
how am I staying busy? Well, lots of things. I have so much material recorded as I've been around the block a couple of times. So currently right now I released 3 instrumental songs. I'm that 70s type guy. I don't play like Yngwie Malmsteen or Steve Vai. I play a little more like my heroes, Pat Travers, Punky Meadows, Mick Box, Dave Feinstein, Tony Iommi, all those guys. So at least 3 instrumental songs, and they're out there on Spotify, Amazon, um, whatever else all those are. My website, roycoston.com, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, they're all over the place. So I'm doing a lot of that right now, a lot of home writing. I got a few more gray hairs out of it, trying to read all the legal aspects. And, as I get older, I got to wear glasses now to read. So
I
uh,
got you, man, and it sounds like you're up to a lot of cool stuff.
I got a lot of stuff. Like I said, I've been around the block a few times. My first band they did a lot of work, was called Ardent. Uh, that CD, I put all the demos together. A company called Retrospect Records put that out many years ago. But I want to re-release another band I did called DC Strut. Um, Re-release, I have a couple of versions of Four Large Men I was in. So I have abundance of material that I'm working on behind the scenes. It's all got to come out.
Yeah, and
And it brings us right up to LoveBone, because we're going to start rehearsals here pretty quick. We haven't, with this pandemic thing, we haven't played at all, but we're still writing. We're going to have a new recording come out here pretty quick with that. But right now, I've been really concentrating on my solo stuff because there isn't much going on. And where I am, the singer lives about 45 minutes away in one direction, and my bass player and drummer live like an hour away in another direction. So it's not like we're neighbors and we can get together. So
yeah, definitely, definitely challenges with everything going on, especially right now. But it sounds like you have a lot of cool stuff coming, a lot of cool stuff in the works. And I just got a really quick question. Like, how do you approach an instrumental song compared to like one with lyrics?
it was different. Well, I you know, everybody says that you're a great player. You need to do this and you do that, and I just kind of blew it off and say, eh. But what happened was I was working on some of the Four Large Men material. Okay, the original lineup of Four Large Men, there were four guys. 3 of them have all passed away due to cancer. So I'm the last guy standing. So as I'm recording some of my newer material, um, I had Jerry, the singer, sing some stuff for me before he passed, and I pulled up the demos and I couldn't listen to his voice. It was too eerie. I wasn't ready for it yet. So it took a long time. And I said, well, I got these cool riffs. Maybe I should just try to do an instrumental. And that's how that all came about. Because I didn't want to deal with hearing his voice. And of course, listening to some of the other past members play, it was too eerie. So I just put it off on hold. And then when the timing was right, I kind of went back to it. So the CD I'm working on is called If It Ain't Loud, It Ain't Right. And um, I'm remastering a couple of those songs as bonus tracks. So it's going to be the three instrumentals, and a small little acoustic piece I wrote for my wife because she says, you never write anything for me. So I did that. And then I'm going to put it in as a bonus track inside a huge dedication type thing to my falling departed band members. So that's the long story of it. So,
And that's a great way to honor, the past band members. And I believe it, like when you hear music from people who aren't around anymore, especially ones you're close with, kind of a difficult thing to do.
well, the bass player for Large Man, him and I have been friends since seventh grade. So, that was difficult. The drummer for Four Large Men also played in Ardent and DC Strut. So, and I joined them when I was still in high school back in November of '81. So it's not like I knew these guys for a couple of years. We were all lifelong friends. And I knew Jerry since, 1979 or 1980. So, you know, it, it's kind of weird how it all came about. But yeah, it took a little bit to hear the music and especially Jerry's voice. He just had this, he could sing Dio, he could sing Judas Priest, he could sing King Diamond, Queensryche. He was just that type of a guy that can do that. And I have a really cool acoustic ballad that him and I played together here in my small little home studio. And I've been trying to work on that. It's difficult trying to put that together because it's got to be, to me, it's got to be just right the way that I want it to be presented on the CD. If you don't like it, then that's fine. But it's something that I have to do. I guess. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Of course, I mean, you're the one making the music. If you don't like how
Right.
it sounds, then it really doesn't matter what, other people think.
Right. Well, before it was, of course, with the LoveBone stuff, my vocalist Chuck and I, we decide on a lot of that stuff. But this time, with all this stuff, it's me. If you don't like the mix, that's on me. If you don't like this guitar little thing in there, that's on me. But when I listen to it here and I take and listen to the car, I like to hear, left and right, things going around. So it's not just, cool lead parts, but they're like, it's all over the place is what I'm trying to say. Left and right. It's not just playing. It's very cool stuff. So,
Yeah, and you got to experience music. That's like the whole point of either going to a concert or listening to music in your car. You have to experience it.
right. And I've been around the block a few times. I've supported Blue Oyster Cult, Pat Travers, Benny Mardones, Raven, the Rods, Jackal. I mean, the list goes on. So, I mean, I don't have to, I'm at that point in my life where I don't have to, I did this, I did that. It's all on my site. You can read it.
Exactly. And you're telling you've opened and supported a bunch of great bands, and you've been a musician for a very long time. And I kind of want to go all the way back to the beginning. How did you know you wanted to become a musician?
Okay. So going back to that, you got to remember I'm a product of the 70s. So I wanted to be David Cassidy from the Partridge Family. And we used to throw plays and things like that when we were kids because that's what all the neighborhood kids, did. So I did other music stuff. And you got to remember the Monkees, the Keane Brothers, the Sonny and Cher shows, all the Ballville shows. Music was different back then. And I think, of course, now it's lost its way a bit. But that was the heart and soul, I think, of one of the way that I feel today. That's the way that I was brought up.
And so how'd you start playing guitar? How did that come about?
Well, I started playing when I was 11 years old, but that was just one of those things. David Cassidy had a guitar, uh, so it went from there. So I started when I was 11, and I took lessons for many years, and then I played in like the school chorus. By the time I was in high school, my senior year, I persuaded the teacher to get me into orchestra because I used to dub the violin lines and do things like that. So, and then after I got out of school, we were just on the road all the time, traveling all in New York State. We ventured out a little bit into Massachusetts and this and that, but it was mostly around the like Oswego to Binghamton, Buffalo to Albany type thing. Yeah.
That
So,
all
yeah.
sounds
Sleeping equipment, trucks, they promise you hotels and it's, a mattress on the, bar floor after hours, And plus then when I was in school, um, I was 16, I was able to drive and I played with a bunch of older people. And because, with the drinking age and everything, it was 18, and I wasn't old enough to drink yet, but I could play and I could drive everybody home. And back then we were playing, 4 or 5 sets a night. You have to remember it was different then, you know. But times are changing. Kids, I think that's one thing that kids don't understand is, we, I slaved many hours, many hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays playing all over the place. So,
yeah, definitely
I think,
well traveled.
I think, yeah, that helps define me of who I am. Yeah.
I think for sure, definitely you're well known musician in the music industry, and I kind of want to bring it, to current now. The guitarist for LoveBone. How did that become about?
Well, during the 2000s, when the music scene really changed, uh, I said, I still give lessons. I teach privately. I teach all the adult classes, kids, and all the way up at Madison Oneida BOCES. I teach at the Oneida YMCA. So there was always teaching involved, but you miss playing. I sold, my Marshall stacks, and I ran into Chuck at a Kiss show, or we were buying Kiss tickets, or Jackal tickets. Sorry, that's on the website too. And because Chuck's bands used to open for us all the time because we were always the headliners. We had the biggest draw. And it's like, well, you want to do something. He was the bass player, so one thing led to another, and here we are, with LoveBone. In 2004, we won the Battle of the Bands for a radio station, so it just continued from there. And going with that, I've been on compilations. I don't know if you can see this. I've been on Kiss compilation. Look it up. LoveBone's on here. Um, Gator Rock for Sally's Records. LoveBone's on here. I got songs all over. Paris Records with Tom Mathers. Four Large Men is on here. So it's like I've been on, 20 CDs. I do this, I do that. Um, different things like that. So it opens everything up.
Those are really cool, especially some great compilations on there. Recording Kiss songs. That always very cool. And I kind of want to.
The first time that I was actually on a record, it was around here, WRCK Utica Rock 107. And one of the songs I was in was Ardent. And it was the first song that I wrote that was called All or Nothing. And I have a couple of these, and they're still sealed.
Is it vinyl?
And that is vinyl.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that
that
is
is.
so cool. That's wicked,
Yeah.
man. So yeah,
Speaking of Wicked, my son is the drummer for Wicked, and they are a 70s glam band, kind of like an Angel to King Cobra. So, yes, I thought I had a picture here I could show you.
I'm gonna have to check them
No,
out.
you're going to have to check them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when Gunnar was starting to play, he was a kid. We were playing little parties in here and there, tried to get him out and play. And 2 years ago, Wicked signed to Sony.
Oh, very nice. That's very impressive.
So they are looking for another deal now that expired. So yeah,
Very, very cool. I'm gonna have to definitely check them out. I'm gonna add that to my list of bands to listen to. But speaking of listening to bands, you brought up vinyl, brought up CDs. I always ask my guests this question: what music are you listening to right now, Roy?
the same stuff I listened to back in the 70s. Yeah. I, growing up, you got to remember we didn't have the huge stereos. We had the AM radio, so you hear, the night Chicago died, or 25 or 6 to 4 from Chicago, or Three Dog Night. Mama told me not to come. I mean, all that stuff. And then as it got on the 80s, you had the Sabbath with Dio, because we're in Dio country up here. Dio was from
Yeah.
Portland. So um, you had that type of stuff. You have Rainbow. And then you went on to Raven, who John Gallagher from Raven is my mentor. I did sing backing vocals on Nothing Exceeds Like It Says, so you can check that out.
I will. Yeah.
Virgin Steel, Dave DeFay is also my mentor. I talk to him all the time and call him up. I'm working on this song. How do you get this, with some compressors not working right? The rods. So everything, it just, that stuff you listen to as a kid into the 80s, I guess that follows you the rest of your life. Even once in a while, I at work in the warehouse, I turn it on. I'll play the Partridge Family just to drive everybody else nuts because I know all the words.
That's cool though. That is straight up cool. But all great bands. I've been on a big Alice Cooper kick for this week, so that's who I've been listening to.
Yeah, I met Alice a couple of times. He's a real cool guy. Yeah, and actually, one version of LoveBone, we had a couple past members from Alice Cooper band play with us for about a year. They played on Raised Your Fist and Yell tour, and the drummer did a lot of the demos for Alice Cooper Trash. So we used to play 18 in their set. Yeah, and there's a couple videos out there on my RoyCoston.com page of all that. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to, especially for any fans of Alice Cooper as well.
And then the bass player also played on the first two. God, it's all up there. Kane Roberts, the bass
Yes,
player from Syracuse. He has played on the first two Kane Roberts records. So check that out.
I will definitely. That sounds pretty amazing that you actually got to,
Yeah, there's a lot.
both like that.
There's a lot. The history in this area. Lou Grant's from Rochester, which is like an hour and a half away from here. Joey Belladonna's from the area. To me, the best Great White is the first album, and my buddy there, Gary Howland, played on that, Out of the Night, and their version of Substitute by The Who. So, I mean, there's just tons of musicians around here, and they have done very well.
Yeah, you're in a very rich area for music, especially being out that way.
Yes. Not so much lately, but yes.
Well, yeah, but throughout history, though, for sure. So, but I don't know, there's been many great albums, even some flawless albums. If you had to recommend someone listen to one specific album, what album would you pick?
This is a hard thing because even on Facebook, you see, you have to pick this album or that.
Yeah.
As I get older, too, I'm a little bit more cranky, I notice. But how do I break this down? Kiss Alive 1, Rainbow Rising, Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, Deep Purple, Burn. How do you? I can't choose any of it. How do I choose some of that stuff? That being a musician and playing that stuff and listening to it, I can't choose just one. So there's a few of them. How's that?
You listed some really phenomenal albums. Like I know all of those, and yes, I agree. I asked that question. The first person to actually ask that question to, just to tweak your brain a little bit, see like what line of thinking you got going.
It just how somebody like myself. How do you justify all that? I mean, let me back this up. I don't know if you can see some of the stuff here.
Yep.
You see some of my vinyl?
Wow, that's a lot of vinyl. You got stuff on the wall too. That's a very impressive collection.
Yeah, all my vinyl. Yeah, I got
And you got Batman.
Yeah. So I got tons of things. I mean, that's what I said when you say try to pick one specific record. You just don't. For me, I can't do it because I have so many. But those were the few that I chose.
Yeah, you chose a lot of winners in there. Like those are some really great albums, and anyone who hasn't listened to those albums, you should do that in your lifetime.
Yes, especially Kiss Alive 1 because that's when Kiss were hungry, and to me, Kiss was a hard rock blues band. You listen to a lot of that stuff. It just, it's that early Chuck Berry type stuff, just done with a little bit more distortion.
Yeah, and I think I love their live album. One, I think they completely nailed like the whole Kiss live experience in that album. It is just straight up flawless.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And plus, being a product of the '70s, oh man, when albums were album, you read it, you looked at the picture, you played, you take the record and put it on the turntable. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
when it all started.
definitely a whole experience with actually getting it out of the sleeve cover and putting it on the turntable.
Yes,
So,
yes. I still got my turntable. I still got all that old stuff. I got too much stuff. But yes,
you got a lot of interesting and fun stuff over there, though. I like all of it.
I got lots of things. I got tons of autograph stuff. I mean, when the bands used to come through the area, Syracuse, Rochester, and that, we were there. I mean, I've seen so many great bands in the club. I mean, I saw Guns N' Roses, Cinderella, Twisted Sister. I saw all those guys, when they were, struggling musicians in the club.
Yeah, yeah, definitely all very cool stuff. Especially see them in their prime and up and coming had to be an amazing experience.
It was there. A lot of those bands were hungry, and they just killed it. I can go on and on. We're gonna have to do this again and talk about a lot of that stuff.
I'm always for up and for it as always. But thank you, Roy, so much for hanging out with me. Very special interview with Roy Coston, guitarist for LoveBone. But I got one more thing before we go. One last question. What can we expect from LoveBone at the end of 2020 and into the beginning of 2021?
Well, I'm hoping that LoveBone will be able to get out and play with all the restrictions that are on New York State right now. But like I said, we're gonna get together here in a couple weeks, and I wrote a couple of new riffs, and we're gonna work on that, which is I know, but I want to be prepared with LoveBone for next year. That is the main goal right now. So as soon as we get the okay, we can start booking. Then we're going to be ahead of it because we have everything prepared now. And if things go right too, I want to have a couple solo shows going. So I got some work on that. I've been talking with the drummer, Talon Black out of Connecticut. He's my buddy. He's done some other things for me in the past. So I got tons of people. I'm writing with Ronnie Monroe from Metal Church Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Um, I got I got a lot of stuff going on. So, but preparing for LoveBone, I need to play out because I'm pulling my hair out here because it's been February was the last time I played.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a very long time. Everything has been going on for so long that, I've heard a lot of
Nope,
bands haven't even played their first show yet.
no. I'm lucky I have a day job because I don't know what I would have done, but we have, might be not talking about myself. I mean, I lost a lot of money as far as like not playing students and all that. And that's what helps keep the ball rolling as far as like paying for the websites and this and that. But a lot of my friends are worse off than I am because they're not playing and there is no money out there.
Yeah, a lot of people are hurt right now, especially, no shows going on. That's why I always say if someone likes a band or likes an artist, please support them. Buy a shirt, buy a CD, stream their music, do anything.
Thank you. Thank you. I am the guy that's sitting out there by myself. I got the 8x10s. I got a huge table full of stuff. LoveBone t-shirts. I got everything just to keep the band going. Put gas in the gas tank because sometimes the bar doesn't make their money, and everybody knows that story. But before we go, I got to say a big, huge thank you to Christina. You
Yes.
know, for hooking this up, and she does a lot for me as far as like putting me in the magazines and radio interviews and things like that. So I got to thank her for doing all that and all the support she's done. Because without her, we need more people like her and like yourself. Super
Yes,
cool.
that's right. Thank you. Yes, double thumbs up. But yeah, shout out to Christina. Wonderful person to work with. Always a fun time. I'm glad she was able to bridge the gap, get in contact with Roy, and do this really awesome interview. But thank you so
I'm
much, Roy.
very happy. So thank you. Yes.
So for
Be
Roy
here
Coston,
in 2021 because I don't think anything's going to happen here on out.
yeah, no fun till 2021 is what I'm saying.
I, I especially live in New York State. Everybody knows that.
Very much so. For Roy Coston, the guitarist of LoveBone, I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio. Thank you for watching this great interview.